times higher than it was at the beginning. The rate of suicide and violent crime by teenagers has tripled in the last 25 years. A quarter of American households are victimized by crime each year. All forms of child abuse are on the rise, whether it's physical, sexual, or emotional. Even, watch this, even a drive from home to work involves a risk of violence, as incidents of serious road rage rose from 51% from 1990 to 1997. And these are old stats. Now, we just had a football played with the Saints.
Yeah.
It was road rage. We'll pull over and put something in them. Y'all didn't read it? Y'all didn't see it in the papers? Road rage. That's why it behooves me that when somebody passes you, let them go on about their business. If they stop in front of you and slow down, you just back up and ease it up a little bit. Don't get caught up in the hype. I remember when Aaron Allison let somebody drive his car. He was dealing with somebody. Two boys coming off the interstate. Boy drove up into the barber shop up here on Bramerton Avenue. Boy got out of his car because the boy that shot him in the head in the barber chair said that he jumped in front of him. Road rage. So when they got off the interstate and the boy got in the chair and the guy put the thing around him to get ready to cut his hair, boy walks in here and shoots him in the head and kills him. Road rage, y'all. Okay, it's at 51% now higher than it was in 1990 and 1997. It's 2016 now. It's worse.
Yeah.
My bid to you is that when folks try to do little stupid stuff to get on your nerves or whatever, just back up. If you got to take another way or whatever, don't even get into it because you don't know what folk working with. You don't know what they trying to do. You don't know if it'll be a hate crime or what. You know, because to me that was a hate crime. Now that was real bad. That's black on black. You know, boy just walked right into the barber shop and shoot the boy and kill the boy in the barber shed because he pulled in front of him on the highway. Okay, y'all. I'm saying because, you know, and this stuff is, in the 1980s and the 1990s, news reports of personal and community violence became almost routine. So you know what it is now? You know what it is right now? It's normal. I'm talking about that no snitch mess when you see stuff going on and don't nobody call the police or don't nobody try to talk to the young boy or young girl or whatever when they doing stuff and they ain't got no business doing it. It's no longer routine, it's normal. We have become desensitized. I wish I had some prayer this morning. I want to help y'all though because I don't want you to be fearful of what's going on. I just need to work this because you need to understand that if you don't get right with God and you don't make your peace with Him, you're going to get left. And that's what's happening right now. People are getting left. They get left and right. They get left on this side and they get left on that side. It was common to hear about a local post office or a factory where a disgruntled employee murdered co-workers or a distraught lover who killed his estranged girlfriend and then ended his own life, or gang members killing other gang members in drug-related incidents in and around our communities and around the country. Y'all know what happened out there in Ohio? They just buried the young girl yesterday. Y'all know there was an execution-style killing, 8 people. The sheriff out there said he'd never seen anything like it. It was overwhelming because they'd never seen violence like that in their community. 8 people, and they don't have no suspects. That was a hit. That was a hit. I don't know who they were hitting. No, it was a hit. That was a hit when you got 8 execution style. They left the babies alive. But the adults and the teenagers, they just put her to rest yesterday. That was violence. And so the sheriff said, it's overwhelming. We never seen nothing like this before. And so they gave their presence at her funeral yesterday because they said they didn't know what might take place. It's normal, y'all. That's my point. It's become normal. It's become the norm. It's not just routine. You know, back in the days when we used to hear about somebody getting shot or killed, you know, that stuff was, you know, somebody might have got stabbed, you know, back in the day. I'm talking about now, it's out of control.
Amen.
I'm talking about it's on blast. It's on blast. Watch this, because I'm moving right along, y'all. I just want to educate y'all this morning so you don't be fearful. Zbigniew Brzezinski estimates that during the past century, 167 to 175 million lives were deliberately extinguished by political motivation, by intent, and by heartless carnage. Did y'all hear what I just said? You know, 175 million people, you know that's about 250,000 people population here in the United States. You know, it's supposed to be about 375 million of us. So 100, he said in his book, deliberately extinguished. They were murdered, great God from Zion, on purpose. Somebody in their diabolical, cynical minds, somebody that was demon possessed, they killed those people. He said from 167 to 175 million lives. You know, that's just like the abortion. You know, the abortion number is ridiculous now. You know, it's over 75 to 80 million babies that have been aborted since they started that mess. You know what that is to God? It's murder. Murder. I'll wait for the message out there.
Murder. Amen. Straight up. Amen. It's murder.
Okay. All right, let me move on. I'm just telling you, it's murder to God. It's murder. It's violence. Evil and violence are the twin consequences of a lost relationship with God. And I want to share with y'all a couple of things that will give you an understanding of people not having peace with God. And when you talk about being lost, you're just not lost in your soul. You're just not lost in your mind and in your heart. You're lost because of several components. The Hebrew word for peace, shalom, is more than a mere absence of violence. It pictures life in harmony with God. And so if you're not at peace with God and you haven't made your peace with God, then guess what? Then, you can be a statistic. I'll wait for the amen. That's why I tell you to make your peace with God. Make your peace with God because we don't know when we're going to leave from here anyway. We don't know if tomorrow is promised to us or not. You know, we hope that we'll be here, but we don't know for sure. And so let me give you some of these components of why. Let me read first to you Colossians chapter 3, verse 15. But let me give you these components of what being lost is, because, you know, this is why people are so violent and people are so off the chain. In Colossians chapter 3, at verse 15, it says these words. It says these words. It says, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Okay, that's when you're at peace with God. Let the peace of Christ rule in your heart. Why? Because he is the Prince of Peace.
Yes, he is.
Since as members of one body, you were called to what? Peace. You were called to it. Yeah. And then he says, and be thankful. You have a heart of gratitude because God has given you peace. Listen, you can't purchase peace nowhere. I don't care what you have on this planet, whether it's a brand new car, brand new house, brand new clothes, brand new jewelry, a trip to Spain. I don't care what you do. It will not give you peace. And if you ain't made your peace with God, you'll never be satisfied. I'll wait for the amen to die down. That's when you're content and when you're satisfied is when you made your peace with God. You ain't got to worry about how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do that. You ain't got to worry, period. That's why Jesus said, don't worry about what you're going to eat and about what you're going to wear, about where you're going to stay, because I'm giving you my peace. That surpasses all understanding that will guard your heart, mind, and grace. You ain't got to worry about how your bills are going to be paid. Don't worry about whether you have a job or not. Don't worry about what you're driving and what you're not driving. Be thankful. Yes. Be thankful that I gave you my peace. Yes, sir. You can't purchase peace. Thank God, I'm preaching now. I'm ready to go in a minute. But you can't purchase peace. You can't purchase it.
No, sir.
And so he said, be thankful. See, what's wrong with some of what's wrong with some of what we see going on in the world today is that people have no respect for life. They have no value for life. You know why? Is because they're not at peace with God.
Amen.
That's why they'll cuss you out.
That's right.
When you try to tell them to do something that's right, they don't want to hear that. They're desensitized. They have no peace. Satan has reign over them. He has strongholds on them. And so they can't even think properly. And that's why it's good for you not to say something sometimes. Sometimes you need to shut your mouth and just be light in a dark world. Sometimes you can't say nothing. Sometimes it ain't good for you to say nothing. Like when Deacon Poole and I was together the other night, it's just, you got somebody walking up on you, walk away from them jokers, because if they're going to do something to you, you got to break it out. You got to break it out. Just in case. Ain't going to let nobody get me. Ain't going to let nobody mess with me.
No, sir.
What? I had to drop. That's right. I kept moving. I said, come on, boy, you're going to keep moving. Keep moving. Look at these factors of loss and I don't have time to break these down. I wish I could. Maybe one day I'll come back to this and I'll do this for you. But here's why people are not in peace with God and don't have peace with Him, because they have a loss of identity. Yes. Amen. When you have a loss of identity and you don't know who you are and whom you belong to, you are lost. You're lost. Number two, they have a loss of healthy family relationships. And don't y'all know that if we were more closer to our families, don't y'all know that if we would sit down at the dinner table together and talk to one another and just see how each other's day go by, what's going on with each other, don't you know it would make us healthier as family members? Because they have a loss of a healthy family relationship. You know, a lot of people don't know their dads. A lot of folks don't know their moms. You know, when we was up there in Mosby, you know, that's all we heard. A lot of stuff we heard is that, you know, the mama abandoned them, or was on drugs or alcoholic, or the daddy was incarcerated in jail, or the daddy was dead. Didn't know him. You know, left them when they was 3 and stuff like that. It was talking to us about the different stuff that was going on in the environment that they lived in. And then I told y'all, as soon as we left that day, young boy got shot in the back. Wow. 2-3 days later, young boy got stabbed. Didn't die. I'm just saying, that's violence. Because the light showed up. That's right. Not only do we have a loss of identity, a loss of healthy family relationships, but we have a loss of innocence. That's right. A loss of innocence comes from somebody violating you. A loss of innocence comes from our children. If our children didn't feel safe in here, guess what? That's unhealthy. That's right. That's right. That's right. I ain't just talking about with their parents. I'm talking about if the parents was out, the parents ought to be able to trust us. That's right. That's right. That's it. That's right. It's we the church. We're the church family. We're all our family. And we're supposed to take care of our babies, regardless if the parents are with us or not. We are innocence, a loss of innocence. People have lost their innocence from a number of things. I can't explain all that stuff right now because I'm telling you, but just think about it. A loss of innocence. So you have a loss of identity. You have a loss of healthy family relationships. You have a loss of innocence. Also, you have a loss of community. You know how people disrespect you in your community? Because they have a loss of community. They don't know how to be the community. You know what I'm talking about. People aren't neighbors today. You know, you'll see your neighbors come outside and they'll look you right dead in your face and they won't even speak to you. Now, you can speak to them too, but sometimes it'd be good if they speak to you first, because you know, you always the one initiating. Good morning, how you doing? And they still won't say that to you. That's a loss of community. People are disconnected. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I don't even speak to my neighbors. I look right at them too. Look at me all crazy. If you say good morning, how you doing? And looking at y'all crazy, make me feel real stupid. Okay. I look back at them. Look at that. Crazy stuff. You can't speak. I'm big. Okay, y'all. What you talking about? I experienced this stuff. Yeah. Not only is there a loss of community and people aren't neighbors anymore, anymore, but a loss of satisfaction. Folk are looking for something, and they're looking all in the wrong places.
Yes, sir.
So let me tell y'all something, especially you young ladies and you women in here, especially you singles. Don't even look for them. Let him find you. If he don't find you, don't mess with him. I wait for the events of that. If you know he ain't got no job,
don't bother.
leave him alone. Don't even mess with him, period. Oh, he's so cute, he's so handsome, and he got all this good everything. So if we make a baby, our baby be pretty. You better take that thought and put that in the washing machine. Wash that mess out there.
That's right. Wash it out.
If he ain't got no job, leave him alone.
That's right.
One alone. And let him look for you.
Amen.
And watch how he treat his mama and his sister. Because if he don't treat them like nothing, guess what? He might infatuate you in the beginning of the relationship, but guess what? After a while, by and by,
It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
His hands on
It's
you.
gonna come out.
It's
gonna come out.
Running home talking about, I thought it was gonna work. I say, well, I told you, I saw it. You didn't see it. He ain't got no job.
Right.
Because his mama out.
You
You didn't catch that? People do that stuff. Loss of satisfaction. Loss of satisfaction. You're not being content. You're not having what you want. Stop chasing dollars and all that kind of stuff and go to God first. And make your peace with God and let God give you contentment with what you have and what you're doing. And then as he wants to prosper you and as you have a plan to prosper, okay, there's no problem with that. I don't have a problem with you prospering. I want you to prosper. I want you to be billionaires. I want you to do all this and that. But if you don't have the satisfaction of God filling that void and you haven't made your peace with him, you'll never be satisfied.
Never.
Loss of satisfaction. That's what's going on. Because these young boys in these gangs, they out there, they chasing the dollar. Because the American dream is that if you can have, all this money, you can have nice cars, houses, and all this kind of stuff. Nice clothes, designer clothes, and all this kind of stuff. And Solomon said it well in Ecclesiastes, it's vanity.
It's vanity.
It's all vanity. It's empty. It's empty.
Emptiness.
Loss of satisfaction. The next one, loss of responsibility. And this is why we have so much trouble with our youth. Because the parents aren't teaching them to be responsible.
Amen.
The parents are letting the children parent them. The parents are letting the children tell them what to do and how to do it. In my house, it ain't gonna work like that.
Amen.
It don't work like that.
Tell me what to do.
But I'm telling you right now, if you don't teach your children responsibility, they'll never know. What they gonna learn from? Because they ain't gonna learn it from the street. They gonna learn from the street. Survival of the fittest. I gotta get it. I gotta get it while I can. And I'll do anything possibly in my power to get it. Even if it causes to hurt somebody.
That's right.
You better watch. I'm telling y'all, teach your children responsibility. Teach them, listen, my mother taught us the value of $1 when we were little. She would make us go to North Carolina every year and work in tobacco. Now I didn't want to. Gun vest, hands be all black. And I'm up there hanging tobacco, the bar about to pass out. Sweat drops coming off me like somebody hit me with a water hose. Passing me the tobacco stick. I'm trying to hang with tobacco and stuff. But guess what? As a child, I learned how to drive the tractor at 5 years old, and then I started driving tractor trailers for a living. I wait for the amen to die there. My granddaddy, my mama's daddy, that's why you clap to that. They told us responsibility. They told us the value of $1. And guess what? Even though my mother purchased us some books and she purchased us a little few clothes or whatever, we might come back home with about $400. That was a lot of money back in the 60s. For a child, for a little child, that was a lot of money. Back in those days, I could have brought a whole bunch of cookies. Because cookies on, a soda back in those times was just 5 cents. You get a cookie for a penny. I wish I had some drink. Shirley Woolard would put your money in the bank. She was teaching us how to have little bank accounts and all that. So my mother was teaching us. And right now today, my mother's doing good for herself. And we appreciate her. And my granddaddy, he's going to be with the Lord. But, I appreciate that training because, got to teach them to be responsible because don't let the streets do it. The streets gonna just teach them how to go out there and get it hard.
That's it.
The next one is loss of authority. We see that with the police and even with parents.
Yep.
You know, when the children are talking back to the parents,
Yep.
of course, you know, if the children disrespect the parents, they're not gonna respect the law.
That's right.
Simple as that.
That's right.
Huh? And so you have a loss of authority. And so people don't, you know, people are cussed to preach out.
Yeah.
I wait for the amen.
That's right.
God doesn't believe me.
That's right.
I've already witnessed it. I'm telling you stuff I've been through already.
Witness.
They will cuss the preacher out.
That's right.
Talk about him, talk down on him like he ain't nothing.
That's right.
And all the good that I try to do, you know, or that I would do, have no respect for authority. Have no respect for authority. You know, even the drunk got respect for the preacher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he can pass the
You gotta put that ball down.
They hide that bottle, they hide it. They put that weed down, they put that weed stick down, you know. But the people in the church will cuss them out. Talk about them like a dog. I'm trying to tell
That's
you.
right, that's right.
I'm trying to tell you what I know. No respect
No respect.
for authority. Loss of authority. Next, loss of control. People are out of control because they have no peace with God. They have no values. They have no morals. They have no remorse. So when somebody kills somebody, guess what? They don't think about it until they get locked up. Then they regret it because guess what? That's going to be on your mind for the rest of your life. All that time you're going to serve in penitentiary. Because you should have thought about it before you pulled that trigger. That's why I said this morning, if you have arm, don't pull it and don't use it. Now I was taught that in the military. Don't pull your weapon unless you're going to use it. Now, don't pull it and let nobody, you know, I don't even know why people walk around with the permits where they can carry their stuff outside. I don't want you to know I got something. I wait for the amen to die. I'm the element of surprise. And you come at me, I'm going to get you.
That's right.
You ain't going to know I'm carrying something. I'm going to have one of the permits where my thing going to be concealed. I'm just saying. I don't have no pistol, y'all. I'm saying I'm carrying. Y'all look at me real funny like this. Probably you got a gun. I ain't got no gun. My brother's got all my guns. Loss of control. Nobody, people are out of control. Lastly, loss of relationship with God. That's the last one. Loss of relationship with God. People are tripping because of the fact that they have no intimacy with God. They have no respect for God, so of course they ain't going to have no respect for the police or for the parents if they have no relationship with God. And so get right or get left. Both criminals were mocking Christ along with the crowd, and Mark 15:32 says, "But as the hours wore on, however, the criminal on the right, his conscience was affected, and he repented. He cried out for a plea of mercy. The thief on the right reflected his belief that the soul lives on after death, that Christ had a right to rule over a kingdom of souls of men. He knew this, and that he would soon enter that kingdom despite his impending death." In Ezekiel 18:32, these words are said, "This is from God himself, for I have no pleasure in the death of one who dies, says the Lord God." God don't want nobody to perish like these young people are doing out here today. Therefore, he says, turn and live. Let's look at how James in his epistle exposes the presumptuous follies of the practical unbelievers as he condemns them in verse 13. And those who do not know what the future holds for them, James says these words in James chapter 4. In James chapter 4, real quick. In James chapter 4, I just want to read this to you because it's in here, verses 13 through 7. I just want to read these verses to you real quick. In James chapter 4, because this is what's going on with us when we have not surrendered to God. Look at verse 13. Verse 13 says, "Now listen, you who say today or tomorrow we will go and do this or do that at that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make money." He says, "Why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. Amen. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or do that. As it is, you boast and brag All such boasting is evil. Anyone then who knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it, he sins. James gave us a future look at what it looks like. And what we see right now today, only God alone knows the future. Isaiah 46 verses 9 and 10. He says, remember the former things of old, for I am the God and there is no other God. I am the God and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure.
Yes, sir.
This is God. Nobody knows the beginning from the end but God. So if you ain't made your peace with him, then you're going to get left. His request to be remembered, and this is the thief on the right, was a plea for mercy, which reveals that the thief understood he had no hope but divine grace, and that the dispensation of that grace lies in Jesus' power. At this point in the cross, we see God's love at its best. There is only one way, and it's through the narrow gate, not the wide gate. It is of the wise builder, not the foolish one. Either you're going to be a good tree or a bad tree. So either you got to get right or get left.
Amen.
Amen.
He's known as the way, the truth, and the life. The mediator between God and man. He is the wall of fire that defends, a friend that sticks closer than a brother, who comforts us in the time of need. He is the rock that sustains us under heavy pressures of life. Today, do you know him today? Because you need to get right or get left.
Yes, sir.
The reason why violence is taking place like it is, and I stopped by to tell y'all today, it's not going to get any better.
Nope.
It's going to get worse.
Worse.
What we're seeing is, we're seeing the signs of time.
Amen.
God is showing us and revealing to us
Faith.
that his word is true. Jesus said, I tell you the truth. Truly, truly, I say. He's saying, I'm telling you the truth. This is going to take place. This is going to happen. If you don't know him today, it would behoove me that you didn't get to know him personally. You got to get right or get left. Because this stuff that we see, and you don't have to fear what's going on, what's taking place, what's going to happen is going to happen. Whatever is going to happen to us is going to happen. And I'm not fatalistic because stuff happens because of life. Life is just what it is. Life is life. And so we don't never know what's going to happen, no matter how well we plan or prepare. But you need to get right with God and make your peace with him so that you will be ready. You know, when Jesus told you to be ready, y'all can stand to your feet because I'm close.
Be ready.
Jesus, you know when Jesus told the disciples and he told everybody in the audience, he said, be ready because I'm coming as a thief in the night. He means what he's saying. And he's coming back. And he's coming for you whether you want him to or not. He's coming for you. If you belong to him, he's coming for you. He's going to call your name on the road.
That's right.
Just like, you know, some of these people are going out of here before their time. They could be here a lot longer if they would make their peace with God. They don't hear messages like this, and so of course, you know, they go out there and they fight and they scuff and they kill and murder, and they just don't ever come to know him personally. Today you have an opportunity to make your peace with him. You can say, God, I'm sorry, forgive me for my sins. You can repent. That's right. And ask the Lord to forgive you of your sins because you know what you've done, and you know you haven't been living right. You know you ain't been living right by him. You know you ain't been living right by yourself.
My God.
You know what you've been doing, and you know what you haven't been doing. But you got an opportunity today to make a choice because get right or get left means that you have a choice.
That's right.
You have the choice to get right with him and make your peace with him, or you have the choice to get left. And that's John 3:17.
That's it.
He said they loved their darkness, so they chose to be condemned and go to hell. Most people that we see that's dying out here right now, they chose to go to hell. They chose to go to hell. Yeah, and we know that they went to hell too if they didn't make their peace with God. We know that they went to hell. If didn't nobody lead them to Christ and they didn't ask for forgiveness or repent of their sins, that's where they wind up at. That's where all of us are going to wind up at if we don't make our peace with God. If you haven't made your peace with him, you have an opportunity to make your peace with him today. You have the choice to get right or get left. You ain't got to get right with me. Get right with God. He's the one that said, don't fear the one that can kill the body. But fear the one that can kill the body and the soul. Fear that one and can cast it into hell. See, hell is a reality. It's a real place. So I don't know about you, but if you're saying to yourself, what must I do to be saved? You need to make your peace with God. Right where you at. You don't have to come up here in the front. You can do it right there where you stand, but you need to make your peace with God. I can lead you right from here to Him where you can make your peace with Him right now. Follow me.
Amen.
Father, in the name of Jesus, your Son, Jesus Christ.
Yes, God.
I repent of my sins.
Yes, Lord.
And I ask you, Lord, help me.
Yes, Lord.
I be struggling. I be going through. I'm weak. I'm tired. I do stuff I have no business doing.
Yes.
But I know you're a good God.
Yes, Lord.
And I know that you're a God of mercy.
Yes, Lord.
And I know that you're a God of grace because you sent your Son Jesus Christ to die on the cross for my sins. And so I'm asking you to forgive me right now. As sincerely and as humble as I know how. Forgive me for my sins. I repent, oh God, and I turn from my wicked ways, and I turn from my evil ways, and I turn to you right now. Because I want peace with you.
Yes,
I want to draw near to you so you will draw near to me.
Yes.
I want to make peace. I want a relationship with you. I'm tired of the way I'm living. I'm tired of what's going on in my life. I'm tired of my mind being shaky. I'm tired of sleepless nights. I'm tired. I'm just tired, Lord. And I repent of my sins. For all that I've done wrong, Lord. Forgive me.
Forgive me, Lord.
Everything I've done. Now forever be in your good honor and grace. Thank you for saving me. Come to live in my heart. Thank you for residing with me, holding my hand.
Thank you, Lord.
In the tough times, in the storm.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you for being with me.
Thank you, Lord.
Everybody else turned it back on me. And left me by myself. You said you'll never leave me nor forsake me.
Never.
And so I thank you for that.
Yes,
You've been
Lord.
carrying me all the time.
Yes,
I
Lord.
had no idea. But I want to thank you for your
Thank you,
forgiveness
Lord. Thank you, Lord.
this morning in Jesus' precious name. And so, for everybody who prayed that prayer, just thank the Lord in this place.
Thank you, Lord.
Carrying us all this time. Thank you for a new life.
Thank you, Lord.
The old things have passed away. All new things.
Yes, sir.
New creation. So that's all you have to do. And listen, it don't cost you nothing.
That's right.
Because eternal life is a free gift.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to pay for it because He paid for it.
That's right.
All you have to do now is live for Him. Live for Him. Serve Him. Do what's right. You know what's right. You know right from wrong.
Amen.
Bring your kids up right. Teach the kids the fear and the admonition of the Lord.
Amen.
Train them up right. Teach them responsibility. Teach them community. Teach them healthy relationships and what a healthy relationship looks like. That's what they're looking for. That's why they're acting out, these kids.